and you're tuning in, listening to Occupy the Media. Today we have a special guest coming up later on the show. Jason Green from Missouri's 5th Congressional District is running for office. You know, on this show we like to talk to a lot of Ron Paul supporters that are running for office, running for Central Committee, people that are trying to make a difference. So we've heard from Jenny Warman, Rick Williams, and we got more to come. So let's jump into some Ron Paul news. Unless you've been under a rock, you know that Ron Paul is breaking records everywhere he goes. Let's see here. On his website, Ron Paul with 8,500 plus voters at University of Berkeley shatters town hall meeting attendance record. Let's see here. 2012 Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul attracted 8,500 plus voters to the third of 3 town hall meetings he held in California this week. Let's see here. At similar events held yesterday and Tuesday, respectively, Paul drew remarkable crowds of 6,200 voters to Cal State, Chico, and 6,000 plus at UCLA. And I was at UCLA, and I can tell you it was awesome, off the chain. And if Berkeley had even more people, then I can only imagine the energy that was going on over there. So California had a great few days here. So 8,500 is a record now. So I think we're going to wait and see if Texas can beat that. I think I read somewhere someone's expecting Texas to hit over 10,000 when he goes out there. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll be another state that'll break all the records. Also, in Ron Paul news, we have here at theexaminer.com headline, Fox News lies about Ron Paul claiming he stopped having campaign events. Of course, they're always lying. Let's see what they're talking about here. You may have seen the coverage passed around on Examiner.com about his speeches and large crowds, but you have not seen coverage on Fox News. In fact, on Wednesday, Fox News ran an article titled, Where in the World is Ron Paul? Now, this is the same day he's supposed to be speaking to over 6,000 people in UCLA. The article blatantly lies, claiming that Dr. Paul has held only one campaign event in the past month. It then goes on to claim that Dr. Paul's campaign is winding down. The Ron Paul revolution has gotten awfully quiet. The Republican presidential candidate, whose past 2 bids for the presidency turned him into a cult hero among college students and libertarians alike, appears to be winding down on the trail. His operation went dark for a total of 18 days last month, holding no campaign events. So far this month, he's held just one. And then it goes on to say, that was a quote from Fox, and it goes on to say, this writer is well aware that the Ron Paul revolution is not quiet. It is alive, well, and chanting in the Fed, which is exactly right. The loudest chant that Ron Paul gets, and it was the loudest chant at UCLA, is in the Fed. And that's why the media wants you to think that we're winding down and that we're losing and that we just need to get out the race. And I know there's some Ron Paul supporters out there that are frustrated that they think the same thing, but we got to keep on going, man. We got to keep on pushing. As soon as we start agreeing with them, then, they're right. As soon as we start making their statements true, then it's true. It just is what it is. So we got to fight back and occupy the media, which is what we're doing. Let's see here. It's a nice little post that was put on dailypaul.com. It's called, the title of the post is Good People Still Do Exist. And I think this might have been from Ron Paul Forums, but I'm going to read this to you. I think it's a nice little testimony here. So there I was waiting in a drive-thru at Wendy's. Oh, and this was posted by Boya Shaka on Thursday. So there I was waiting in a drive-thru at Wendy's. There were 2 cars in front of me, and Wendy's was taking forever with whatever the first guy ordered. Well, I noticed the car's driver in front of me was looking back at me through her mirror when the next thing I know, she gives a thumbs up, which I knew what she meant just because my truck is covered in Ron Paul Revolution stickers. Well, I pull up to the window to get my food, and a girl hands me what I ordered and said the lady in front of you paid for you and said something about Ron Paul. The young girl was clueless to why this lady just paid for someone she doesn't even know. I told that girl to look Ron Paul up because she got to witness firsthand how the revolution is going to bring our community back. I never got to thank the lady for what she did for me because she sped off, but it's great knowing there are good people still out there in this world beat down by fear-mongering mass media. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Anybody that's not part of the revolution, if you're part of the revolution, that's not even surprising to you. When we go out to these rallies or we go these events, you meet new people, you meet Ron Paul supporters, but you ask anybody within minutes, it's like you knew them your whole life. It's like, it's amazing. It's definitely amazing because we're like-minded. We agree. There's a lot of people out here that ain't paying attention to what's going on, and it feels great to be around people who are, people who want to talk about Ron Paul, people who want to talk about the Republican race and not just sports or entertainment or a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. What else we got going on? Somebody posted. Now this one, I'm sorry, was on Ron Paul forums. This one is titled "Good News in Louisiana," posted by Dargath. I wanted to read this to you guys. See, a small tidbit of good news. Our caucuses are still a few weeks away, but get this: Rick Santorum, who won the popular vote, is robocalling the entire state looking to get supporters lined up as delegates. In every single congressional district, we are hearing reports of these calls. So what, you might say? We've had a full slate of delegates and alternates in every county for weeks now, and those delegates have been on the ground building support for our slate. Also, the robocalls are telling the potential Santorum delegates they'll need to cough up the $200 registration fee. We've had no such problems financing our registrations for delegates. Louisiana could pull some surprises still. And then P.S. The funniest part was a few dozen of our Ron Paul supporters had an organizational meeting today to discuss strategy and whatnot going forward tonight, and we were getting the robocalls while we were there. It was pretty funny and encouraging. So, yeah, when they can rig the voting, it's kind of hard to rig the delegate voting because people got to be there. You got to have bodies there. You got to have people representing your candidate, and Ron Paul has more representatives than anybody. Just look at the crowds. Go on Google and look at Romney's crowd in the stadium, and then look at Ron Paul's and ask who's the real front runner, who's really in the lead here. Let's see. Also on Ron Paul's website, headline: Ron Paul is named taxpayer friend for 2011. National Taxpayers Union awards Dr. Paul its top grade for defending overtaxed Americans. Let's see here. Ron Paul was recently awarded an A rating for a year-long voting record of defending American taxpayers. Let's see here. Of the 15 times since 1997 that the NTU has graded Ron Paul on taxpayer-friendly lists, Dr. Paul has received 15 A awards. Now that is consistency. Like he said, say something about yourself in one word: consistency. And that's what that is, consistency. 15 times he gets an A+ award when it comes to taxes and being a friend of the taxpayer, because that's what we need. We got too many enemies out here. Let's see. It says Dr. Paul stands out from the crowd of elected officials and presidential candidates of both parties with a frequently articulated, refreshingly candid and toward taxing the fruits of one's labor. He will continue to fight for the rights of taxpayers as president and as an involved citizen, as NTU members do, added Mr. Benton. So that was Mr. Jesse Benton. So, yeah, I mean, Ron Paul, what do you say, never voted for a tax increase, and that's what we need. We want to get rid of the income tax. If we can get more money in our pocket of our own money, then we can spend it and do what we like with it. Then, we can start fixing our communities, fixing our homes, fixing our neighborhoods, taking care of ourselves better. But when we're getting raped 30, 40, 50% in taxes, I mean, it's ridiculous. We're giving government all of our money. It's almost like we get a cut. They don't even get a cut. They get most of it. So let's see here. We also have a headline coming up. Is Texas looking to change its delegate rules to help Santorum? So, yeah, I know we're about to come up to a break, but after the break, we're going to talk about that. Santorum got some tricks up his sleeve, which I told you the GOP was going to try something. So, yep, you're listening to Occupy the Media. I'm your host, Paco, and we'll be back after the break.
Ron Paul, it's your right to choose. It's the American way. The constitutional heart of it.
Dr. Ron Paul, more than 4,000 babies delivered. A man of faith, committed to protecting life.
This whole notion of life not being valuable just is something I was never able to accept. I happened to walked into an operating room where they were doing an abortion on a late pregnancy. They lifted out a small